Hey guys, welcome to Comic Book Wars. This is episode 3. This is the comicbookspeculation.com podcast. I'm Jimmy Linguini. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hey, it's Sleepy John here again for episode number 3.
And we also have
Nico, your weekend update correspondent for comicbookspeculation.com.
Cool. So I wrote a post today about some of the comic books coming out this week. The only one that I really saw that I thought was noteworthy was this Ronin Ragdolls book from Kevin Eastman Studios. Did you guys see anything else that you thought might be cool for tomorrow?
You don't want to talk about that one more? You've already went into depth about it.
Well,
Enough.
It's selling for a few dollars above cover. It's called Ronin Ragdolls or something. And it was like a Kickstarter book. And there's like a Kickstarter edition that sells for like $40. But this one has like 5 covers, and they all seem to be selling well above cover. So
Was that actually released through Diamond?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Well, it is tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a different book though. Like the Kickstarter one had 2 variants, and you can tell that they're completely different.
Okay. Are they still available on his website?
Well, they were last week, but I looked earlier today and they weren't on Kevin Eastman's website. But I imagine he still has a few kicking around, so I wouldn't be surprised if he listed them in a few weeks.
Okay.
But they are selling for like $30 to $40 online, and he was selling them for 10. So I'm not sure if he sold out or if he just pulled them.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't interest me too much. I know it's. I can't. I mean, it's hard to say on stuff like that. You could either go one way or the other. Isn't that what could happen? I guess it could stay the same too.
Well, I mean, it has a Turtles 1 homage variant.
Yeah.
And I guess like the story behind it is like it's kind of an autobiography. Like he did a book called Drawing Blood, which is kind of an autobiography book, but he puts himself as a different character, and that character made this book, and that was this book. And it's kind of like Turtles, but it's kind of not. So it doesn't say it's by Kevin Eastman. It says it's by this other ghost name that he created, but I don't know. It's just interesting, but it's only a one-shot, so you never know.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a one-shot, and again, it's part of this graphic novel, but it's not coming out with the graphic novel. If that makes any sense.
All right.
Yeah.
Something to look out for. I don't know. What do you think of Agents of Atlas 2? You interested?
Well, I saw like the one cover selling above cover, right? Are all of them doing well, or?
Yeah, I think there's just 2 covers. The cover A or the base cover is, it's above cover. I think it's like $7 to $10. I didn't check if that was plus shipping or included shipping. But the 125 was selling for about $40 to $50. And supposedly it's the first appearance of the Sword Master, which we talked about last week. I got no clue about any of these characters, nor am I that interested, but they are selling well.
So Swordmaster appeared on all of the covers, though, for the first issue, right?
Right. Yeah, he just wasn't in it. From what I've read. I did take a quick look through it, and I did see most of the characters, but I wasn't specifically looking for him. So.
Yeah, you were just looking for Luna Snow, who is obviously the breakout character of the book.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have known that before 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Yeah, whenever you sent me that music video, that's what blew my mind. That's what made me say, okay, this character is here to stay.
Somehow, all of a sudden, Luna Snow was the center of attention, even though Wave was the center for like 2 months with those the Philippine store variants. Those are selling really well too. I saw today a set was about $250. It was still wasn't finished with the auction yet.
What book is that again?
The Agents of Atlas won the
Wave Philippines variant from that Philippines
store variant, from the store based in the Philippines.
Yeah, it's a nice
They
cover.
were super expensive to ship, so a lot of people I think thought they were going to be able to get them cheap on eBay after the fact from retailers who ordered them in bulk, and that hasn't happened.
And you could if you wanted to get them yourself, you could only order 2 of each. And then yeah, like you said, a couple stores bought some in bulk, but they sold out pretty quick.
It's not. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's interesting. But I mean, I guess this has been like the week of store variants because the other big book that I guess is on everybody's mind is that AOC book, right?
Yeah, how about that one?
I think Jimmy was the only person in the comic book community to champion those books and did it early.
No, it was just they had the one book and it was selling like they offered a store variant that was offered through the Devil's Due website, and it was selling way above what it was being offered for. So I think I bought like 3 of them, and I just told other people they should too. And I guess now it's selling for like $50 or $40. So I don't know.
Well, but what's
Yeah.
the one that's selling for almost $1,000?
That's the New York Comic Cave variant.
Yeah,
But
it's
there seems
by-
to be like some misinformation out there about which variant is pulled. Like so DC sent a cease and desist letter out to Devil's Due and to New York Comic Cave, and in the cease and desist letter that was released, it says that it's the cover with the elephant on it, which is just weird. So there seems to be about 4 covers that are out there that have her in the Wonder Woman costume, and those seem to be the ones that are heating up a little bit. So,
But I
who
guess
knows?
because it said New York Collector Cave, whatever that store is, they only had the one variant that was limited to 250. The Carla Cohen cover, who is seen her name around a few times recently, but kind of I think once like Shannon Mayer got hot and they're trying to find these artists who do painted covers and painted art. I've kind of seen her name around too. But I don't know if it's legit. It's hard to say. Somebody put up a pre-sale of a 9.8 and it sold for like $1,200.
Yeah, apparently CGC isn't grading it. That's what I've.
Oh, no
I've read
kidding.
some people are saying, yeah. So,
Well, that
I
would
don't
be
know
awesome if you got one then.
which I think is interesting because DC has graded other recalled books. So I think we still have. I think
CGC has.
I think the jury's still out to see what's going to be
grade-
going on with these books.
Yeah, it's weird when they decide they want to have standards on stuff because they
Well,
grade counterfeit books too.
yeah, and it's the same thing with Dead Rabbit, though, right? They graded Dead Rabbit, and it was the same kind of reasoning behind. Like there was a cease and desist. So the only reason they wouldn't be doing this one is because it's DC.
So were
which
people
really
were they getting them graded after the letter came out on Dead Rabbit?
Yeah. It says on the label recalled.
But they're kind of in bed with DC, right? Because they remember when they did those Jim Lee Dark Knight 3 sketch covers.
Well, yeah, they don't want to make DC upset, right? So that's
Yeah.
the thing that makes it funny because it's like, oh, so some people have certain clout with you, but some people don't. Like so it's just obviously not a fair playing field. But who knows? No thoughts on it, Nico?
Only that I wish I would have bought a couple of the American flag draped AOC covers. I dropped the ball.
Yeah, they got pulled a few days ago, and then this morning they the Captain America 1 homage was selling for $50, and they had them on their website, the store that offered them for $20, but they seem to have been pulled since then too. So I'm not sure if that means something's going on with that one because she is in the Wonder Woman outfit in that one. So who knows?
So I did like look quickly online today for news stories on it, and there was a couple of the New York websites, news websites that had it, but also Fox News picked it up. So I don't know what the long term is on this thing because she's definitely a well-known politician, and there's going to be stuff coming out on both sides, obviously.
Well, she's definitely going to run for president at some point, right?
It'll be determined, I think, in the next year or two, like which way she's going to go.
Well, I don't think 2020, but I think
No.
eventually she's probably going to end up running as a president.
I guess I just mean in the people's
as
eyes.
a candidate. Well, yeah, sure,
yeah.
but I mean, I just think that it will still have some collectability, but who knows? I mean, I don't know if maybe she won't be a senator anymore, but I still think that she'll still be in the political arena, or maybe she'll just be a commentator. So I think she'll still be around, but who knows?
Yeah, no, I can see that definitely.
Any other books you saw this week, Nico?
I mean, I can show you what I picked up from my one local comic shop that'll give me books early.
Well, you can do that.
Let's see what you got. We got the.
Oh,
I
not
didn't-
much.
Didn't know you were hiding books on us.
Yeah, not much. All right, so I picked up the Miles thing because there's a first appearance of somebody who I don't really know who she is or whatever.
I was wondering if that was a first appearance.
Apparently it
Apparently, yeah. Apparently, there's a cameo in the prior one. Blah blah blah.
Is
I
that book
picked up-
selling though?
I have no idea. I picked up Venom because I always do. It's a Carnage cover. It's all right. Nothing special. I picked up Batgirl. Clearly, I'm not reading it. Strictly a cover buy. I might be the only person who's still picking up B covers. I picked up Batman because I really do want to figure out what the hell Tom King's going to do to Batman. And that's all she wrote. He gets no indie books. Literally none. I've got to go to my other store to get them.
Wasn't the Batman issue where Tom King said you got to read this.
And then
see
I
what
picked up
happens.
this many back issues. If that gives
No, but
you
was
some
it the
indication
book?
of like,
So wait, is it the book though that Tom King said that we have to read, or why did you pick it up?
We have to see because it's going to be the Batman of the new era or whatever.
That's what he said. What a loser.
He said
well,
something like that.
the suggestion is that by issue 75, there will be some sort of like critical event. As he closes in on 100, and that basically he had to get permission from Warner Brothers corporate for the plot development that he's planning. I think I talked a little bit, perhaps last week. I think that a lot of people have suggested that maybe Batman's going to kill Bane, or do something that would forever change him as a character. I don't know if that will be the case or what precisely they plan on doing.
I think he's going to get married. I think issue 100 they should do a wedding issue. Be a big seller. It'll be a big seller.
They can give out cakes.
We're talking about Batman and Bane are getting married. I'd buy that.
That wasn't what I was thinking, but I mean,
They would definitely
why-
need permission from Warner Brothers corporate for that, I would think.
I don't know. I'm
why
pretty
would
sure that
be
they'd
weird?
be. Everybody would be okay with that.
Yeah, why would
Perhaps
people have
not
a
Warner
problem
Brothers
with that?
corporate. I don't know that people would necessarily have a problem with it. I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Sounds like you have a problem with it.
No, definitely does not.
Um,
Not what it sounds like at all. But anyway,
did you guys see?
Well,
in case people are going to immediately turn off the podcast, can we do our free giveaway?
Yeah, sure.
Hot dang. All right. So, in an effort to promote the podcast, we're giving away Shannon Mayer variants of Harley Quinn on the cover of Deceased #1. All you have to do to be entered into next week's random drawing is share the link to this YouTube video and tag 2 friends, either on Instagram or Facebook. You can do that on your own personal page or on some other page. You can do it however you want, and then you'll need to take a screenshot and send the video evidence to comicbookspeculation.com. Jimmy, what's the website's email address?
That's a good question. I think it's hiphopcomics@gmail.com.
How do we spell that?
Yeah, so it's HIPHOPF comics@gmail.com. I should have set up the comic book speculation email address. You're right, but I didn't. So it's hiphopcomics@gmail.com.
And the good news is that the link will be in the description of this video on YouTube, right?
Yes, sure, certainly.
See, I'm creating responsibilities and obligations for Jimmy on the fly so that he can't say no. Which is all the more reason that everyone should participate.
I like it.
Accurate.
I like it. Maybe I'll put a little something in. Maybe.
No,
my
you're not
name
putting
and Chris-
something in. No, what are you doing? Get out of here. Whatever. Did you guys see what was going on with Spawn 300 though?
Looks
Speaking of
awesome.
contests.
Yeah,
So
I thought it was. I saw it on Monday. I was like, oh, this came out over the weekend, and no, it happened on Monday, which I thought was odd, but
Did it
makes
happen on
sense.
Monday? I thought it happened on Sunday when I was messaging you guys about it. I thought the signing was on Monday with like for the variant.
Mm,
So
could be.
yeah,
Could
there
be.
was a presentation I think on Sunday night
Okay.
where Todd McFarlane gave a presentation and he showed all these videos of all the creators and he announced all the creators. And then I think there was a signing on Monday where they gave away that retailer variant. And I say this because it went long. That meeting, the retailer summit went long, way past 12 o'clock. And they make you can't get the variants until right at the end. So there were a bunch of people who had to stay and not watch Game of Thrones. And
12
a bunch of people were
midnight?
upset about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Oh
it
my
went long.
gosh.
So what they do is it's an all day event, and they do things all day. Like they have workshops and stuff, but they also give you like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But they also keep you there hostage. And then at later at night they open the bar, right? So it's an open bar.
Yeah, just to be clear for people that don't know what we're talking about, what Jimmy and John are discussing is the Diamond Retailer Conference that is ongoing in Las Vegas, or did it wind up?
It ended, yeah. So I think it was just Sunday and Monday. I could be wrong, but it was this weekend. And then so yeah, they announced all the Spawn things. So they haven't released all the Spawn variant covers, but there is a ASM 300 homage, and that was the only one they released, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a $700 or a $7.99 book. Not going the Tech 1000 $9.99 route, but still, pretty expensive book. And he indicated that there'll be no store variants. Scott Snyder is going to be contributing as a writer in some regard. What else?
I don't know if he said there wouldn't be store variants.
No, there won't be store variants. But he also said J. Scott Campbell's doing interiors, Opeña's doing interiors, Capullo's doing interiors, and he's also doing interiors. Oh, so is Jason Sean Alexander. They're all four doing interiors.
Yeah, and he'll be inking Capullo's pencils.
But they can also do a cover as well, so they'll all have a variant cover.
Well, yeah, they haven't released all of the variants yet.
No,
and there's also allegedly a black and white 300 homage.
I didn't hear about that. I guess I didn't pick up that there wouldn't be store variants. What he said is, I don't want 60 store variants for this book. And he said, so you can't do a variant cover unless you do interiors on it, which having J. Scott Campbell do interiors today is very tough to do. But McFarlane is boys with him from back in the day, so he calls him Jeff. So he can just call him up and say, hey, Jeff, I need some interiors. Yes, sir, Mr. Todd. And that's how it works, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of the 297
I don't know if he had to run it by his wife to ask him about store variant on that one, but apparently it's happening anyway.
I didn't like any of the other ASM homage variants for Spawn. Like, I don't know who this new character is, and I don't really care.
Which one are you talking about?
The 297. Right?
There's a
On
297 retailer.
Oh, you mean the retailer variant? Oh, I'm sorry.
Right. That
So
they distributed at the Diamond Summit.
It's Opeña that did that one?
It looks like Matina to me, but I thought McFarlane kind of made it sound like it was his. But when I never got a good look at it till you posted a picture of it today.
Well, he's signing them. McFarlane's signing them.
Well, I don't know if he
signed them all,
but I think the vast majority of them are signed. I saw a lot of people got other things signed as well. So,
you had to go by his booth to get it though. So
right, he was signing them in a couple different color inks too.
Did you have to go by his booth though? Because usually they have it set up as like you just go at a certain time. And
I don't know for certain,
so I don't know. But
in the video when he was announcing, he said, "Yeah, come by our booth tomorrow, and you can pick it up then." But it was a cool idea. He said, it says on the bottom, "Retailer is king." Like he's trying to make it all about the retailers, which, and I think so. A lot of the stuff I read online was like, "Why is he doing another 300 homage? Like that they already did one," and I'm kind of wondering, like, is he doing it to mess with Marvel? Because he came out, said no store variants, or, not going to do a lot of store variants, whatever it be. he made a variant cover that says the retailer is the king on it, and he's doing another 300 homage and 301 too. 301, he's at least they showed an image of it that looks like 301 as well. So,
Mhm.
but it had the same Spawn image, I think.
Well, it's a
Which
different
is-
costume, right? It's a different Spawn costume.
The regular 300 is different than the 297 because he said this is the original Spawn costume. If you look at the other one, it has more bangles, I would call them, bangles with spikes all around him on his legs.
I think when
and
the
stuff.
first 300 homage came out, it really caught people by surprise because that's when he was doing all those homages, and they were still
Yeah.
like I think they were really under ordered, and
Oh,
that's
they were.
why it sells so well right now. Because I don't think Spawn was at a really good sales place at that point, but
Mhm.
I don't think that this one is going to do as well as that one did at all, because
looked up
retailers know about it, and
Yeah, I mean, I
everybody
don't know that
seems
it's
to
going to
already
do
be.
well in the secondary market, but don't you think he'll do gangbusters?
Oh, for sure. I mean, people are already pre-ordering them, right? And it
Right.
isn't even in previews, so
yeah.
it should be a good book. But I don't think
I
it's
feel
going to
like-
do well on the secondary market.
Agreed.
I feel like this is going to be one of those ones where, me personally, I look at it the first time like, oh, another. It says 300 on it. Looks like Spider-Man 300. Everybody sees it coming. No need to order it because you can buy it later for cheap. But I got this feeling in the back of my mind like, why didn't I just order it? Like Spider-Man 700. How many of that book did they make? And everybody saw that one coming. They knew what was happening. They knew Superior Spider-Man was coming. That you can't buy that for $20 even right now. I don't feel like. Maybe I haven't checked recently.
It was a $7.99 book. There was,
Yeah.
and I think that book, like of all the 1 in 1,000 variants, there's probably more copies out of that one, like that variant cover of ASM 700, than any other 1 in 1,000 variant.
What was the 1 in 1,000?
It was the
It wasn't-
Ditko.
I think that was 1 in 500.
Was it 1 in 500?
I believe.
I don't know.
Don't quote me.
I'd
Pretty
I'd
sure.
have to
But
look into that one, but there's a lot of copies of that out there. So I think
There's-
a lot of that one did have a higher print run, and I know ASM 1 had a really high print run too, and the Cindy Moon thing. So
yeah,
So
least that
Spawn
one's
spec
maintained.
generally, you guys want to give some like guideposts for in case our viewers are interested in trying to grab some books in anticipation of the 300th issue?
I will say I'm going to look for some retailers that are going to offer the Road to 300 arc and probably pick up a couple of those sets. Because right now I'm sitting on 2 full sets, I think, of all of the A, B, and C covers for when they did the Al Simmons' daughter arc, who turned into, who realized she had powers. And I can't think of what the heck it was called, what it's called off the top of my head. But they were supposed to do a series with her, which I have heard nothing about since they announced it a long time ago. I think the Spawn stuff you just got to buy and kind of sit on for a couple of years.
Jimmy, any thoughts?
well, I mean, it's usually the harder, like the lower print run variants that seem to be doing well, like that Trade Smart one and a few other ones. So
It
I'm
depends
not
how
sure.
much. Yeah, it depends.
I'm
how much,
definitely gonna try to get a set, at least one of all of these new ones, but I don't really see a great market in them.
if you want to, if you go to like, say Free Comic Book Day and store has back issues at half price or for $1 or something. Basically, I look for anything 175 and up that I can get for $1 or maybe $2, depends how old it is, and it has to be in high grade. If you can get 175, even maybe a little bit earlier, up to let's say 249. Any of those you can get in high grade for a couple bucks are well worth it. 249. There's a couple. It's weird. Spawn has been so weird the past couple of years. It seems like every 6 months, a new issue that seemingly means nothing to somebody on the outside picks up and starts selling for 50, 60 bucks. Spawn 249, which is like the return of Al Simmons. That's a great book. On a good day, it can sell for 50. 240, I think, is a recent one that's jumped. There's a bunch in there, like 214, 217. Or
The second prints, right?
yeah,
are always a big deal.
There's one that popped a couple years ago, and I have it on my eBay search list, and I can't remember the exact number.
I think it's 222.
There's one, it's like 176 or 96, where the original cover has Spawn, where he has like a red glow, and then the second print he has a green glow, and there's another one in the maybe 150s or 60s.
Well, and then all of the newsstand issues, the later the better. I think it's like 136 or 139. That's the last issue. That's a real pain to get. It's a purple issue.
Yep.
But it's the Gunslinger books, I think, are particularly popular with people. And then there's the what's that, like Endgame, Game's End arc. With there's 2 covers where he's headless. One being a super big pain to get, but the thing
it is called Endgame.
Okay, the thing with Spawn is that like people who collect Spawn are sophisticated comic purchasers. Like these guys know their stuff. They're sharp about it, and they pay big bucks for the right books.
You're saying don't get caught sleeping if you have a run of them, because they'll come in and
absolutely
pluck them out.
Yeah,
when you think you got something in the middle of nowhere that's like, why does this one book sell for 30 and the ones next to it sell for 10?
Yeah, absolutely.
But honestly, even the newer stuff, the distribution numbers on them started to go down after 250. And if you look at some of the numbers on those and assume, they got 2 or 3 covers, especially like the Matina stuff, even though some people are high and low on him right now, those are going to have pretty low numbers per cover that I think they're still new. And I've been able to find them, for $1 or $2. I'll grab a couple of those and just sit on them for a few years, see what happens.
Yeah, I pull Spawn books out of the dollar bin as long as they're not early direct market issues or beat up copies. I just do it as a matter of principle. Throw them in a box. Without belaboring the point, any thoughts about the film? Aren't they supposed to start filming here soon?
Jimmy's going to be a grip on the scene.
Yeah, no, I thought they were supposed to film soon, but
that's not till
video
June.
That I saw of McFarlane on Monday said they still had to figure some budgetary things out. So I'm not sure what exactly the status is on it. Yeah, if you watch
did he say it at the?
I think it's like a 15-minute video, but he brings it up at one point.
This is different than the 300, or is part of that?
It's part of that video.
Okay, I didn't recall seeing that part of it.
Yeah, when he's on stage, he brings it up. So
is it when when Greg Capullo's talking and the video cuts out and he's like, "Oh crap, I don't know what to do."
No,
it wasn't that part. Okay,
no,
okay,
but it was there. I'm not making this up. It happened. What a guy.
All right, what do you guys want to talk about next?
What's going on with Golden Age? It says here, Nico's Golden Age Market Watch.
Big books on eBay. Holy cow. So we had a couple huge live auctions. And tonight, I think there are 4 copies of Crime Suspense Stories 22 that are being auctioned off in no reserve auctions right now. I haven't seen a single copy of that in a no reserve auction in the better part of a year. A 4.0 sold today for $2,900. There's a 4.5 ending in the next 7 days or so, and then there were 2 raw copies, or at least 2 lower grade copies that are also being auctioned off. I suspect that in light of the number of copies that are online now, that's probably a downtick for Crime Suspense Stories 22, even though it's an uptick on GPA for the book. And whoever got it probably got about a 10% discount, maybe 15% discount. And I expect the same with whoever wins the auction for the 4.5 copy. What's interesting is that that book ended about, just a handful of hours before a Chamber of Chills 19. So for those of you that don't know, because we've done a bad job of putting up pictures, the Crime Suspense Stories 22 book is a famous cover that was kind of like the centerpiece of the congressional investigation that happened during the seduction of the innocents kind of era, where a psychiatrist by the name of Wortham basically mounted a campaign to kind of get rid of comic books, and he swept with a broad brush and identified things like Wonder Woman comics. We can thank him for things like Headlights, which is what he called breasts. And just a lot of kind of strange words that have been picked up in Golden Age communities and comic collecting communities generally. So the other big book, the Chamber of Chills 19, that's particularly popular among pre-code horror collectors, is a cover that depicts, well, let me say it this way. It was used by the Misfits on their album Die Die My Darling. And it's a black cover, and it's a particularly hard cover in any grade. There is a copy that was listed as very good plus, and I believe it has ended since we started recording.
That's the cover. That's the cover where the skeleton's looking through the snifter at the woman, and the top half of her has with the skin on, and then through the snifter or bones, it's all skeleton.
You did a great job. And what's the Crime Suspense Stories 22 cover look like?
That's the headless corpse one.
Right, where she's.
I mean, these are classic covers.
There's like a hack. The guy's holding a hatchet and he's carrying a woman's head.
Yeah.
Well, and then there's the dead body behind.
And they did.
Right.
Greg Land did a Wolverine homage to it.
Right. So anyway, the Chamber of Chills sold for $4,200. That was a raw copy with not a single picture of the interiors. So whoever was bidding on that, I mean, I think that's a real big result for that book, because you're rolling the dice about there being restoration. I mean, you're always rolling the dice about there being restoration when you buy a raw book, but like. Unless somebody secured photos from a seller who was not real apt to list them to begin with, since he or she excluded them from the auction, that was just kind of like a shockingly big number. So we'll see. There's been a ton of big books up lately. There's a restored copy of Black Cat 50 that was up in a again, no reserve auction on eBay. I don't believe that that's ended yet. It was about $2,500 the last I saw. But there's just been kind of like an onslaught of big books that you're lucky to see once or twice a year, and this has all been in the last 2 weeks. I think what's happening is that big numbers on these pre-code horror auctions and buy it nows are bringing the books out from sellers who've been waiting to cash in on them. So it'll be interesting to see if this continues or if these books start to dry up and how this affects overall prices.
Don't you usually see books like that on the non-eBay auction sites?
Heritage,
consignment sites? Yeah.
Comic Link, My Comic Shop, Comic Connect, absolutely. But again, those are auction houses, Hakes, which Jimmy likes, that throw those books up. They're not up all the time.
I think what I'm curious about as to why put on eBay over those where people are normally looking for them is, are these new people coming in?
Who does that? Who just slams the door so you just
Right.
you hear it?
Jimmy told me to shut the door. I got a message.
But I didn't assume I would hear you shutting the door.
It's like, you should shut that door. It's not appropriate. It's inappropriate. It's rude.
No, there's just a weird echo. I'm sorry. To break it.
I thought he had
I
thought he had seats back there where you could pay to watch the podcast live.
No, there was a weird echo. I was just trying to figure that out. I'm sorry.
I have 50 short boxes in downstairs that I've yet to drag back up to this room. So I have empty shelves behind me.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
the worst part of doing shows is you have to bring the
Oh,
boxes back.
yeah. So anyway, thoughts on any of the pre-code horror stuff?
Oh, well, so what I was saying is I wonder if people are putting them on eBay because people that aren't savvy on comics are trying to get in when maybe it's not a good time because they see the prices and they're coming in. Oh, I'll just look on eBay. That's where people sell things.
Well, yeah, Golden Age right now is selling for a lot, is very hot, and I do think that the reason like Comic Link and Heritage are good is because you can get really good deals on them. Because I don't think a smaller collector audience orders and bids on those websites, whereas eBay is everybody. So
Yeah, but I feel
that's
like
probably why people are pushing their books there. And I think it's it's probably a similar fee structure. If it probably cheaper on eBay. I mean, I thought people put it on those auction sites because they thought the buying audience was on those auction sites, but
yes.
apparently you can put them on eBay and get even more.
Yeah, it's about 20% to put them on a consignment site, and eBay 13%, depending.
Well, Heritage
when you're
throws it
getting
on
those
top of your
kinda-
buy, right?
Well, that's true.
No,
Yeah.
they still charge like
And then
That-
charge
that-
on top of it.
yeah. So
Yeah, they're
They double
charging
dip.
the buyer.
I think
as
all
opposed
of
to-
them double dip.
Yeah, as opposed to eBay is charging the seller. Plus, eBay has a limit as to when they stop taking the percentage.
hmm
I can't remember what it is.
Once it's after a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
So what's going on with Akira? It says something here about the Akira plot and something. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, so that was cool. I don't know whether or not that's true or not, but there was a plot leak, like a plot synopsis that allegedly leaked online that describes Akira as well. It just got it has some substantial changes from the source material, which I think has at least some purists nervous about that. But I'm not somebody who necessarily, cries one way or the other, or I think it's kind of like an immature critique of a comic book movie to be like, it's not the same as the source material, right? I mean, it just is.
I remember you telling me you got up and walked out of Endgame because of it, and you threw
I
your
was
popcorn
throwing
on-
popcorn at people and junior
Yeah.
mints, like this
Yeah.
isn't my Infinity Gauntlet.
Right.
Yeah,
What?
not so much. But
Yeah.
what I think is, probably more interesting, and that's readily available online. All you got to do is Google it. Is the big numbers that people are getting in live auctions for 9/8 of random issues of Akira.
Yeah, that is surprising.
You want to rattle some of them off?
$300, $400, $500 for Akira 9/8, like middle of the run copies. 7. So what you got 7 here sold for $565, but it was a file copy.
What does that even mean?
It means that it was from the
I
publisher.
mean, I
that they had
understand
it in
what
there.
that's. I understand what a file copy is, but like, did it appear on the CGC tag?
Usually, well, I don't know. I'd have to look.
I don't think so.
Do you know,
I think that was just in the listing.
Jimmy? Do you know? Do they put file copy on tags still? I know they're not doing pedigrees, but will they still put a file copy note on? Oh, okay. Thank you, Jimmy.
Jimmy, you have us
He's
muted.
taking a break. I think he's doing another podcast at the same time.
Oh, I see what happened there. I was muted, but I kept talking. It's interesting.
Oh.
It's interesting when that happens. You know what I mean?
I thought he was
Sorry
doing
about
an
that.
Akira podcast at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know if they put file copy on there still, and like how?
I don't think they do. I don't think they do file
Yeah.
copy or anything. Like I have a book that says Stan Lee file copy, and like, what does that even mean? So I don't know.
Came from his personal collection, I would assume.
Yeah, that's what they say, but it's like a 7.0, and it's like a Marvel romance book. So I mean, it just seems like it was like more of a money grab at one point that Stan Lee tried to pull off, and CGC let him. But who knows?
Did they? When Carl Barks sold his, they put a note on
Yep.
it, didn't they?
Yep.
But he
When
hates
Karl Barks sold his
CGC.
collection, and that's why he hates CGC.
Yeah. And
Oh,
for
I
the
thought
record,
he hated CGC first, and then he still got them all graded.
Yeah, for the
No.
record, like
Okay.
it definitely does not appear on the CGC case. I don't know if that's like somewhere in a grader note or somehow they can substantiate that the seller
Well, I
can
mean,
somehow
if
substantiate that.
if it wasn't on the label, then I guess it doesn't really count, in my opinion.
Right. I mean,
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I don't know who the seller is though. You know what I mean? So,
It came with a COA of a guy signed by Comic Book Man.
What?
suffice to say, it sold for $565. That was issue number 7, and there were, like you indicated, some big sales of some other issues that are not issues 37, 38, or number 1. So my point being, there's an opportunity there, I think, for people, because I think people are going to be collectors of Akira or rabid fans. There are a lot of them are like me. They were just the right age when that film was originally released. They were just in the right age in their childhood for it to be a big deal and kind of like capture animated magic. A real spark for their imaginations, and they're willing to spend big money. They've spent big money on things like statues and toys. They're accustomed to the big buy-ins, and I think that there's an opportunity there to sell them some comics if you move on it quick.
I mean, I was never really into it, but the books do seem to be selling well, and they have been for a while to some degree. So,
yeah, but you're not the right age.
okay, what's the right age?
Like pushing 40.
Okay.
Because
rude.
sorry, I mean it's the reality of it. When that came out,
But I'm not
it was
talking
the
shit.
first of its-
I'm okay with that.
Well, it
That's
was the
fine.
first of its kind. In other words, you know what I mean. It was like really a revolutionary piece of animation. Trust me, you had some cool stuff going on when you were that age.
How old do you think I am?
Power Rangers.
How old do you think I am? Are you talking to me or to?
No, he's
Jimmy?
talking to me, not to you.
I'm talking to Jimmy, who's to his
I
credit,
feel like I'm
10 years
a
our
lot-
senior.
I'm
I
a lot
think-
older than Jimmy, but I also had Power Rangers, so maybe.
I don't think you. How?
I
What?
just-
Well, we'll talk about it later. But whatever. Whatever.
Maybe I grew up too late.
Did you guys see the adult Power Rangers YouTube like mini?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like
It is amazing.
the illegal one that they did like
Yes.
without permission. Yeah, with James
Yeah.
Vanderbeek and yeah, it's good. What are you
Never
saying
even
no
heard of
to?
Never even heard of it.
Very
Oh, it's
violent.
tremendous. Yeah,
James Vanderbeek again. I can't remember who else is in it.
it's
but,
great.
I think there's some other celebrities. It's pretty good.
Sean William Scott plays the Green Ranger.
Maybe.
That would be
It's
amazing.
possible.
I'd watch
I have no
it.
idea. All right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was in it. Honestly, it's like
I'd
it's
wa-
like
I'd
12
watch
minutes
it.
or something, and I think it's been pulled off YouTube numerous times because they didn't have permission to do it. So you have to. It's kind of hard to find, but it's great.
So did they get paid for it? They just used their own money to do it.
Exactly. They did it as like they said, hey, there's an audience for an R-rated Power Rangers movie, and then they saw it and they said, okay, well we're gonna do our own Power Ranger movie, and then they made that G-rated one, right?
Okay. So they
yeah.
made like their own, or they probably had somebody make their own trailer, paid them to make.
Well,
their
it's
own
not a trailer. It's like it's a full-on story of.
Does
like
it have a
12-minute
definitive end to it?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's like a cliffhanger end,
Right.
but like it's everything that you would.
It's
ever
a beautiful tease, right?
It's
yeah.
everything you would ever want in a Power Rangers movie. So,
Okay.
and that's from a few years ago too. So.
So it's what some people would want. Now it's on YouTube, so there's no.
Oh
sex
no!
in
Trust me. It's
no sex,
it's-
and it's on YouTube.
Oh yeah, there's no sex in it. Okay, sorry, I didn't. I'm sure you can find a Power Rangers porno.
I'm
if
just
you look
trying
hard
to-
enough.
Well,
You fucking creepy loser.
I did not say that I wanted that at all.
I'm glad we all agree that you're just a creepy loser. Whatever.
What else were we going to talk about today, guys?
So the big news that came out, I guess, was Magic Order is moving forward at Netflix. Which I mean, everybody knew that was going to happen. So I don't know.
Yeah,
There's a
but
few
I'm excited.
Nah, I'm not really too excited. I mean, the books are selling, which I find weird. I'm more excited about the Goon is apparently now in development, which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. But all of those books seem to be selling. Like even the most recent Goon #1 series seems to be selling way above cover.
Oh, is it? I haven't checked
It's
that
like
one.
$8 to $10 depending on which cover you got. So
The but have you ever seen the trailer for the one that they made like for the Kickstarter or whatever?
Paul Giamatti,
No.
it's amazing.
It's like claymation. I don't know what you call that style. That's
Paul
what you're talking
Giamatti does the voice,
Yeah. To Frankie.
and is he coming back as the voice for this newer one?
I sure as hell hope so.
Because I mean,
no,
Shrek.
it's like that's like 10 years old. I don't know.
Well, I
if
mean,
he's-
Shrek
Right.
was in development forever, right? So, I mean, isn't that the way that animated stuff is? Remember, because like Shrek was supposed to be Chris Farley, and then it came out like 5 years after he died.
not the new stuff. They make it a lot faster, but
So,
I think it just depends how much money you got. If you're
but I
Disney,
think Paul Giamatti's probably in less demand now than he was 10 years ago.
so once he peaked at Sideways, you think?
Yeah, I do. Once you get an Oscar and you get nominated for multiple Oscars, it's over.
Well, he was huge. He's still huge, but probably not as huge an actor. I mean, Billions is amazing. If you guys aren't watching it, it's one of my favorite shows on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's like at the Cuba Gooding Jr. level now.
No, that dude fell off hard. Everybody thought he was going to be the next big guy. Then he did that movie with Robin Williams, and they were like,
Which
what?
one, Rat Race, or which the
No, it was a serious
one where like
movie.
his friend sets him up on a cruise, or he goes on a cruise and he pisses off the like travel agency, so they put him on like a gay cruise. Remember when they
I
used to have
think that
movies
was
like
called Under Siege.
No, what a weird thing to say about Under Siege, which is a completely amazing movie. Oh man, Tommy Lee Jones is so good in that movie. That's so rude. Such a rude thing to say about Under Siege. Okay, so yeah, Magic, Order, and Goon are moving forward.
What about, so when you're talking about Akira, I thought you were going to go into these Atlas books that are selling that you could buy for a quarter last week. I can't figure out who this guy is, though. They say he was the producer for Ghost Rider. What
Ghost Rider 2.
What does that have to do with anything?
I think.
Well, he's
people
buying.
are just.
He's trying to buy the whole Atlas Comics library.
But
Well,
they
I
had
asked my-
other movies that he was involved with that were way better than Ghost Rider. That's why I was like,
Like what?
okay. I can't remember. I'd have to look at the article.
Are they comic book movies?
No, that's why.
Yeah, no, I asked my friend who's really into Atlas what all this news means, and he said it means a bunch of really bad movies. So I don't know. What are we gonna do? We're gonna see an Iron Jaw movie. We're gonna see all those.
I mean, how many movies could they possibly make?
Yeah,
I mean,
can't see them.
isn't one dumpster fire going to be the end of all of this?
I can't see them making more than one where they're just like, oh boy, we can't make our money back on this.
Legitimately, I think, and I heard, another podcast talking a little bit about the suggestion that like they're going to attempt to fill the hole for these, Marvel characters. Like there's not a Conan, so we're going to have Iron Jaw, and they're going to have a real hard time selling that kind of stuff at the box office. So the other thing that's strange is these characters just change like from issue to issue. You know what I mean? Like one issue they're gunslingers. The next issue they're wearing a mask over their head and swinging like Spider-Man. You're just like,
yeah. So I mean, Atlas started out publishing back in the Golden Age, and then I guess they had a resurgence in the Silver Age, and those are the ones that I guess are optioned because all the Golden Age ones are in the public domain.
No, this stuff's like Bronze, Copper Age stuff I'm seeing.
Oh, okay, yeah, like the 25.
well, I think it's
they're all selling for like 50,
up from
they're
the
all selling for
70s.
$10 to $15 now.
Yeah, the
all
number
these
ones are.
and some number 2s and 4s. Like I mean, like the first appearance of the Huntress, whoever that is like a $15 book.
Helena Bertinelli.
Yeah, but like why is there a Huntress in the Atlas universe? Why does anybody care? Like, it's just.
I mean, I just
Must
don't
have
know.
lost.
I wouldn't want to be the guy who's stuck with long boxes of Atlas books because I went and like started pulling them out of the dollar bins and didn't promptly sell them on eBay. That's all I'm saying about any of this stuff.
I don't know if you're buying them for $1 though. I mean,
Yeah.
You can't really go wrong. If you're buying them at $10, yeah, you're probably making a mistake. If you're buying them at $5, yeah, you're probably making a mistake.
But I think the best part of that whole announcement was who else was at the announcement besides this guy who produced Ghost Rider? John Voight was there. And John Voight said, yeah, maybe I'll play a villain in one of these movies, but I won't want a big role. And I was like, okay, you got
But I
some
won't
clout.
want a big role.
I was like, you got some clout. You got John Voight there.
Yeah, but like, how hard would it be to get him on Eternals?
John Voight?
Yeah.
Well, he's tied up with Atlas stuff now. Not interested.
They give his daughter calls him and is like, Dad, can you come in this movie I'm in? You don't think he'll do it?
He's like, this was my dream, but I can't do it now, daughter.
It seems like a weak card to play, but I don't know. That I didn't know that. That does seem interesting.
He's kind of ruthless, though. You ever seen him in movies?
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Hmm?
I mean, but he's no Michael Caine. Let's be real.
Yeah, so he's a legend, but the point is, we all agree $1 buy-in, no more.
Don't go higher than that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe $3, maybe $3, but
Jimmy's a risk taker.
Yeah, definitely not books I'd be holding on to.
I will say there was one book I was looking for a little while because the artist passed away, and then people were like seeking it out. And
which one was that? Which book was that?
No.
I mean, there's some cool creators though.
We're talking about the last work.
It was no. It was an Atlas book. I think it was. Is Rich Buckler still alive? For some reason, that name's sticking in my head.
Yeah, he did have a bunch of Atlas books. I think he is still alive, though. I could be wrong.
Yeah, and Wally Wood is deceased.
Is he?
Yeah. Oh. And he did inks on the Steve Ditko book, which I think is The Destroyer. But I may have that wrong.
Did Ditko have only one book with Atlas?
No. But he had one book where he did the pencils and Wally Wood did the inks.
That's cool.
It's kind of a cool piece of history.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've done a bunch of Marvel books. I think, but who knows? Did they? Maybe not.
Who? Wally Wood?
Yeah, not together with Ditko. Yeah, Wally Wood did a bunch of Marvel books.
Yeah, what, Daredevil?
Yeah, I don't think they did it together. What's this? We got it covered. Harry Osborn, Gwen Stacy, Far From Home thing, and why does it matter?
Is that really we got this covered? Please don't tell me that.
It was one place that reported on it. It was actually it actually originated from a
La Republica.
Yeah, Spanish site. Because
is that the name though?
Yeah, usually Spanish people know like what's going on with American movies. But yeah, so I guess the news is
based in London.
They appear at the last scene, or there's some kind of after movie scene.
They said mid credit scenes or mid scene mid movie credits or something. I was like, I've heard of them attempting to do that before, but I don't remember them ever doing it.
What, doing credits like halfway through a movie?
Yeah, like intermission.
Oh, you mean like I'm trying to think what movie did that recently? That Vice president. Yeah, Vice did it.
Oh, did it?
Dick Cheney movie. Yeah.
You know what?
It ends halfway through and then it like starts again. It's bizarre.
Yeah, no, you know what though? I think it was how it was translated.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I was originally reading it that way, and then I went and because I read it in Spanish first, and I was like, okay, I got you. And then I put in Google Translate, and I was like, I thought this was about Akira.
It would be really interesting if at the end to tie in the whole multiverse thing, and there's somehow a flashback, and it's like Kirsten Dunst and
Topher Grace.
No, the Norman Osborn from there, whose name I can't remember. But whatever.
James Franco.
No,
there you go.
His dad.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of.
But whatever. The point is, like, it would be cool if they did something like that and they tied in the multiverse, but I'm sure they won't. I mean, it's a cool
guy that
rumor.
should play the Joker.
I'm not sure why it matters, but I mean, it's definitely a cool rumor that these two characters might appear at the end, and then they'll somehow help tie into the Marvel universe, because we still don't know like the whole spiel, right? So
no, we have no clue what the multiverse means to the MCU Phase 4 or Spider-Man.
And there are rumors about Phase 4, right? Like some kind of 4chan rumors, apparently.
Yeah, there was a 4chan dump of Phase 4 rumors, which some of the there seems like. Let me
A
ask
lot
you
of them
this:
were recycled.
Doesn't it seem like there is a lot of stuff coming out like on Phase 4 that's like, oh, this is what it's gonna be? It's a rumor, but it's it's from a reliable source. Like, here's the last time this person put something out, and you read through it, and you're like, yeah, this actually happened. And then
Why would you
sometimes
dump info though on 4chan? Like that I don't
I
understand.
don't know why people feel the need to leak anything. Like, there's
No, but
some
like-
Twitter accounts, there's all kinds of stuff where you can get
Reddit.
stuff that seems reliable, but you got to filter through it. It's 1 out of 5 is. But do you just get internet cred then, or?
I mean, internet clout, I guess. Isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah, but what does that
Being
amount
popular? I'm not sure. I mean,
to? But you
it's,
can't ever
it's,
tell anybody it's you because you'll get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. So I don't know. But what were these new rumors that came out? Was there anything good in them, or?
I thought
You want to
there was
rattle
just
them off?
a little bit more. There was another confirmation that Black Widow will have Yelena Belova in it, which is
Contrary to a recent rumor, right? That's contrary to a recent rumor.
they've cast 2 other women, right? Or was Emma Watson cast for sure? I thought she was for Black Widow.
I don't think
this-
she was cast for sure.
No.
Because this one is saying the other woman that was cast, which was Florence Pugh. I don't know
Correct.
who she is.
But wasn't there an article today that indicated that the Black Widow film was going to be like after Civil War?
Yes, correct. After Civil War, yes. What does that mean to you?
Well, I have absolutely no idea whether or not there's any veracity to any of these like rumors about Black Widow. The question for me is like, are they jumping all over? Are people, perhaps seeing like little pieces of the movie and trying to recreate it? And will we see, our Inhumans number 5 first appearance take off because she's the new Black Widow, or not so much?
I don't think that it means that there can't be 2 Black Widows out there. Is that what you're thinking? Like, they wouldn't have the Yelena Belova if what's her name is no longer Black Widow.
Well, did Scarlett Johansson die in Endgame or something?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the rumor is that this movie takes place after Civil War or during Civil War or something?
After the Captain America Civil War movie, which
Yeah,
was where
so
Winter Soldier was introduced.
It's weird that they would timeline it like that, where the movie takes place there. Like the Captain Marvel movie taking place in the 80s kind of makes sense, but changing the timeline with where the Black Widow movie fits is kind of weird.
Well, but also the Falcon and Winter Soldier show is coming out too.
And that's based in the same
Falcon
after Captain America's Civil War?
That's what they're saying. So it kind of makes sense because Falcon is now Captain America. Steve Rogers handed his shield over to him. So they can't have could. Maybe in the show he just says, you know what? No thanks. I'm going back to being Falcon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have no idea. The more interesting bit from the Deadline article about the Falcon Winter Soldier TV show for me is that Baron Zemo is going to return. And the reason I think that's interesting is we've long heard rumors about the introduction of the Thunderbolts in some iteration. And there's been a lot of movement, on that Hulk book. I can't remember the number. It's like
449.
There we go, 449. Because those books are selling well. Newsstand copies, the Canadian price variant, and direct market copies are all moving well on eBay. And I think a lot of that and, the interest we saw with the Abomination first appearance and some of the General Ross Red Hulk stuff, it's just been like ticking one week after the next, all because people think that the Thunderbolts are going to come. And, the article in Deadline just gives more ammunition to that. I have no idea whether or not any of that's true. but it's certainly going to help sell copies of the first appearance of the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's a good book to have either way. It'll eventually. That's one they've been saying for a long time. It'll eventually happen, whether TV show or movie.
I bought a CGC 7.0 for like $20.
I was about to
So,
say, why did you buy it?
I keep thinking like, what am I going to do with this? Am I going to list it for $100?
No.
So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for it to hit the $100 so I can be like, here we go, guys.
If a 9.8 is going for 1,000, can you get 100 for a 7.0 of a modern book?
I don't know. It's not a modern book.
Guess we'll find out.
Isn't it like I don't think it's modern, isn't it?
Is that copper?
Isn't it in copper?
It's a copper key. Can we please get a giveaway?
No, I'm keeping that 7.0. No.
Why?
Screw that.
You should sign the outside of the CGC case too.
No. That's gonna be a $1,000 book. You'll see.
I think he does have a point there.
Just like the first appearance of Ultimate Taskmaster.
You better start having some children that have children.
Maybe.
Because they're about the only ones that are going to see that book be $1,000.
It will be my inheritance. I'll be like, here you go. Here's my first appearance of the Thunderbolt 7.0, and they'll be very happy with it, I assume.
Don't go spending this all in one place.
The Copper Age was a marvelous time for comic books.
No, I thought it was a joke too when I saw it, but I don't know, $20 slab. Like I couldn't say no.
Absolutely not.
What was I forget what I was listening to or reading. And some guy said he went to Half Price Books and they had some slab books there, and they know what they were, so they were trying to open the case up. Even when he took it up to the register, they got to get the comic out, scan it or something.
It's awesome.
Which I mean, what would you do though if you worked at a bookstore and somebody came with a graded comic? Would you like, oh, I know exactly what this is, and it's just kind of funny.
Dude, all the half price books in Pittsburgh have ringers that work there. Like you can't find a decent comic.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, we don't have those here.
One of the other things was no. One of the other.
Yeah, one of the other things.
Down goes Sleepy.
Yeah, your thing is kind of lagging, my friend.
Okay.
We can't really understand where you're going with this. But what was the one other thing? Where were you going?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. Go on.
Number 3, the movie. Number 3. Just kind of the rumor just kind of backed up a lot of the stuff that's been coming out. High Evolutionary probably be in it, and Drax's daughter, who is Moondragon, probably be in it. So,
and again, we're talking about the 4chan leak.
Yes.
Drax's daughter's name is Moondragon.
That's her. Who she becomes.
That's her name is Moondragon.
How do you not know who Moondragon is? She was rumored for the last movie.
I made a lot of money on the first movie that I didn't care about anything else after the second one, so I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, you're not.
Although I did make some money on Ego.
We got that.
But
oh my God, what a terrible character
that was an amazing character. I mean,
for speculation, it was a terrible
Kurt Russell in like the Marvel Universe,
and then it was a planet.
And then Stallone shows up for no reason. Good times. Yeah, I liked it.
Hey, I'm here. Then he shows up at the end again. You're like, whoa, glad I stayed for the whole thing.
You trying to say that it wasn't a good movie?
It got a little.
I mean, it wasn't as good as the first, obviously.
I'm saying is thank God Michael Rooker and Bautista were in it, because otherwise there were some parts of it that were kind of boring.
All right, so the speculation with respect to the High Evolutionary is that he will be revealed to be the creator of Rocket Raccoon, that Rocket is going to get a love interest whose name escapes me, and that the High Evolutionary will also be the creator of Beta Ray Bill, right?
Oh, I didn't catch that part of it.
So what's his first appearance?
It's an Avengers book.
Strange Tale.
Black Knight on the cover.
No.
You guys. Great.
He's like
It's like
facing
Strange
this
Tales
way.
154 or something. Maybe that's a different iteration.
You guys are terrible. Terrible
Well,
speculators.
I
don't even
I
know.
don't have like I don't. It's actually been going up a lot because it's been a rumor for a while. I have no interest in the book. I'll buy it if I can find it cheap. Just because who wants the High Evolutionary? I mean, that's
I lied. It's Thor 134.
134. Okay.
Yeah, Thor 134. It's the cover I described. It's the Black Knight's, profile. And
Gotcha.
there's a lot of black on that cover, man.
It's like
But
gray.
low
though,
grade
isn't it?
copies are pretty inexpensive. Yeah, and then there's black at the bottom of the book. But low grade copies are pretty reasonably priced. Mid grade copies are pretty reasonably priced. You're not going to spend an arm and a leg until you start chasing the real high grade copies. I don't know that there's necessarily a good spec behind a villain like High Evolutionary. If you didn't get in early, this may be the last chance to try to get in. And again, there's no, and I mean absolutely no confirmation that he will actually appear in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Stuff like this is also interesting for me because while it might be interesting for speculators and hot right now, I don't necessarily see the prices sustaining over the course of the next 6-12 months without there being continued news, castings, and that kind of stuff. So I think there'll be an opportunity to get in on this book at a cheaper price if you want to.
I don't know about cheaper, but this is still the speculation phase since nothing's confirmed. And that's if you want to try and get in, I think I would try and get in now, even though it has been going up a little bit. For some reason, I feel like there's just more people that don't pay attention to this kind of stuff, and they don't buy until they see something in a major news source or something. And then that's not really the good time to buy. Even though I do talk to other people, they won't buy until they see it in 3 places. Yeah,
Well, I don't think 4chan is a good source of information, but I mean it's not a bad book to keep on your radar.
Now, what
Yeah.
about Feige's announcement that we're going to see the Mandarin again, and people suggesting that he'll be the villain in Shang-Chi? That is a pretty decent source, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, does that matter? Who cares?
I'm
I mean,
kind of above that.
Oh, Kingsley's coming back. Ooh,
No.
But
he's not
Not
dressing up as
Man-
Gandhi again.
No, Jimmy. Not the Ben Kingsley like fake Mandarin, but like an actual Ten Rings Mandarin. That he may appear as Shang-Chi's father. Now, Feige doesn't say this. This is just what people are intuiting from Feige's statement that we'll see that character who appeared in the short film after everyone was irate about the way the Mandarin was depicted in Iron Man 3. So he indicates that you're going to see the Mandarin as like actually return, and people are then suggesting that it's not going to be Fu Manchu or Yellow Claw, who is the villain, grandfather figure in the Shang-Chi film, but that it will probably be the Mandarin in some sort of MCU iteration. And those books have not really popped like a lot of these other books, which I thought was kind of interesting. I mean, they're selling, but the price tag just hasn't gone crazy yet, in spite of Feige's statement, which I think is particularly interesting.
It's Mandarin Strange Tales first appearance.
Yes, and I should have done a better job of telling you what number it is.
I just said, yeah. Again, I'm not too excited for it. Maybe once I actually see more on Shang-Chi.
Because villain spec, or you're just not excited about the news?
Shang-Chi,
or...
I don't know anything about, so it's hard to get excited about. I mean, it's what everybody, same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. People are like, who is that? I don't know anything about him. Eternals. Eternals seems like a real boring story to me, but maybe it'll be a good movie.
Because none of us know anything about them, hopefully they have like the James Gunn thing where they can make a whole universe out of nothing.
Yeah, I don't think they're dumb. I think they got a good plan lined up.
It's harder to make a
Um,
movie about like a known character than it is about like unknown universes of characters.
Yeah, because you could mess it up and everybody would know.
well, yeah. So
Okay,
no one's gonna
we were-
care about what they do.
And guys,
so.
we were wrong
Right.
again. It's Tales of Suspense, number 50.
Nobody cares about the Mandarin. Let's
Those
be real.
are those are the same books to me. Strange Tales, Tales of Suspense. But the interesting part, so if that's supposed to be his dad, they're changing his actual origin story. Now maybe it's just because he didn't have like a very politically correct name in the comics. But I thought they already announced, or they were talking about the villain, and I can't remember his name now. But I did buy a couple copies of a Shang-Chi book that I thought may have some potential. It's Dragon something. I want to say, I can't remember.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that they changed the stories and changed like father figures.
Well, his name is Fu Manchu in the comic, so I don't think that's very. When you're trying to make something for Asian population, trying to get them on board, I don't think that would go over too well.
Well, I mean, we'll find out, I
Yeah.
guess.
Absolutely.
But I mean, they changed Star Lord's dad too, right? So you never know what's gonna.
Yeah, that
happen.
pissed me off. That's like one time when you're. That does piss you off as a speculator when you're like, oh, they're gonna bring his dad in. Okay,
About
well,
Peter Parker's grandfather, Peter Parker's grandmother, and what's her name? MJ is like, it's not Mary Jane, it's like Misty Jane or something. What, you know what I mean?
No,
Okay.
in the
fair
newest
enough.
and Far From Home,
Correct.
sounds like loser speculation, in my opinion.
nobody's going out buying those books from speculation. Are you just talking as a purist from a comic book standpoint?
No, I'm just saying that it
Does
happens. all the
Spider-Man
time.
even have a grandmother? I thought he had an aunt.
Aunt May and
Yeah.
whatever. Uncle
Uncle
Ben,
Ben.
are now. I thought it was his grandmother in the movies,
No.
but maybe it's still his
No,
aunt.
it's she's played
The
by
point
Marissa
is-
Tomei. It's his
Yeah,
aunt.
the point
And
is
they made her a lot
she's very
younger.
young.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's not his grandmother. Whatever.
So I guess
And
Robert
then-
Downey Jr. is never going to hook up with her now, right?
Hologram could.
Anyway,
Interesting.
So that's-
I hear Whitney Houston's coming back on a hologram.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it now.
Yep.
So
MJ's first name is not Mary. It's like
Okay.
Misty or something. And then
I don't
you know what I mean? They just changed stuff.
yeah,
not a big deal.
you're right. You're right. They did.
I don't remember what her name is.
Aunt
I thought it
May,
was Mary
right?
Jane.
Yeah, Aunt May is a lot younger than she is.
Definitely.
Yeah, so who cares? What's the next topic?
I think that was it, honestly.
We were waiting for you to come up with another topic.
Yeah, I think that's all we had for this week.
Oh, I'm
Did
so
you-
disappointed.
I agree.
You wanted to keep rapping, huh?
Well, yeah, I'll be lonely without you guys.
I mean, I watched the Shazam movie. I really enjoyed it. I think everybody should watch it. I did just read Miracle Man, which is based on like the same source material as Shazam. So I think that really helped. But I really enjoyed it. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's definitely a movie I would recommend you watch.
Jimmy likes the movie. I'm
Alan
fucking
Moore's-
stoked.
What's
Alan
that?
Moore's Miracle Man is based on the Shazam movie. It seems to
No,
make
it's
sense.
based on the same source
Seems to make
material as
sense.
Shazam is based on.
Alan Moore's story.
Yeah, Captain Marvel
Oh,
is what Shazam is based on, right?
yeah,
The Fawcett Captain Marvel stories,
yes.
which is what Marvel Man was based on, which is what Miracle Man was based on. It's a whole loop-de-loop. But it just like, yeah. And in Miracle Man, it's like it's a way more adult Shazam, and that would make a great Shazam movie, in my opinion. But not the Neil Gaiman stuff, just the Alan Moore stuff. But who knows?
Does he say Kimota in the movie? He's probably not allowed to. Probably not allowed to say that.
Why not?
I think Marvel owns it.
Oh, you're talking in the movie? No, he says Shazam, right?
Yeah,
He
probably.
just says his name, Shazam, I think.
Probably.
Right? Just like
Yeah.
just like that. Isn't that how Captain Marvel was though too?
Mm,
Yeah, he wouldn't he say Captain
In
like,
Marvel-
wouldn't Captain
Marvel,
Marvel would say
man.
Shazam, and then Captain Marvel Jr. would just say Captain Marvel Jr. or something. I don't know. I don't remember. Those were weird books, and they were
Mary
wonderful
Marvel
books.
says Mary Marvel, and laser
I don't
beams
remember.
come
Like
out.
no, after the first. Okay, whatever. Anyways, thank you for listening. I really.
Yeah,
Oh, you got something else?
absolutely. So we didn't talk about Brother Voodoo right? Dr. Voodoo last time. That was part of the 4chan leak. Do you want
That
to talk
came
about?
out. There was something about that a little bit earlier, I believe.
It's been rumored for well over a year, and then it was again in a lot of the 4chan stuff. I thought was them just regurgitating other rumors, that have been like trickling out as tidbits, and just kind of putting them together in one sort of concise summary. But there's absolutely been some interest in the Brother Voodoo, Dr. Voodoo book. And that's something we suggested.
I don't
in
think
the
that's
last
based
podcast.
though on. I don't think that's based on the 4chan stuff though, because it has been going up
Right.
before that. So I don't know why it went up though, but it has been.
Originally,
high grade copies are a pain in the ass.
Originally, it went up when the first Doctor Strange was announced, and then they cast what's his name, who ended up being Baron Mordo. Is that a character in the movie?
Maybe, I don't know.
I can't remember what his name was, but they cast an African American character, and everybody said, "Oh, it's gotta be Brother Voodoo, definitely," and didn't end up being him. But that was like we talked about last week. Sometimes that's enough to just make a book spike, and then it never really comes back down, just because it gets on people's radar.
There's also like rumor that Idris Elba is supposed to play the sportsman in Suicide Squad. So Manhunter 17 has been seeing a lot of interest.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Don't you have the Key Collector? Don't you follow their top 20 list? Because there's only
but I just saw
list.
Manhunter 17 today on a list, and I sent it to somebody. I said, "Why is this book selling for more than $10?"
Yeah.
That's a real spike. Then
Comic
book was like a $3 book.
Comic Book Resources put out an article about it.
You couldn't even sell that book for
speculation is based on. So
gotcha.
Same with the Atlas books. I mean, it's not like we're in a normal time in this comic market. Like it's not like it's in like. So I don't know.
Yeah, you need to have like a warehouse that has just like every crap comic, and you need like 10 copies of them, and then you can just go there for all this ridiculous stuff that comes out now. So. Yeah. That's not confirmed though that that's who he's playing.
No, absolutely not. It's based on a Comic Book Resources article.
And there's been other rumors, right?
What do you mean? And what? Not for this Manhunter 17, as far as I know.
No, but about Idris Elba.
Oh, sure. I mean, people said that he might be playing Deathstroke. His character's supposed to have a daughter.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, like, it's just like, so we're gonna replace Will Smith with this, and so I don't know. It seems
so Deadshot, Deathstroke, and
he's supposed to play Deathstroke. Sorry, whoever Will Smith played. Sorry,
the Rag Girl, because it's not Rag Man or Rat Girl or
Ratcatcher.
Ratcatcher's dad.
Oh, right? I heard that one.
He's supposed to play Ratcatcher's dad.
Yeah.
Would Ratcatcher's dad be in the Suicide Squad?
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, this is just all this kind of like, stuff that comes out, and you're like,
is Batman's dad in the Suicide Squad? No, because he's dead. That was the answer. I got you with a trick question again.
I had to.
I need to
look at the family tree again to make sure you're.
Yeah, you're right. No, didn't Tom King bring back Flashpoint Batman, which is Batman's dad? Exactly. He did bring him into the Justice League. That's what you got to think about.
Double trick question.
Yeah, apparently.
Point being,
so Will Smith was dead shot. Jimmy,
was he okay?
So Idris Elba could be Deathstroke.
No, they also said he could be dead shot.
Yeah, that was originally they kind of said like, oh, he's.
But nobody's confirmed it. Nobody's said either, right? So they haven't said that he is or isn't dead shot.
No, and I think they've announced almost all the other characters all those weird characters. What do they have? Like 3 of them cast, I believe. They still haven't cast Peacemaker and maybe one of the other ones. So maybe he's Peacemaker.
I don't know. He could be, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Why couldn't he be Harley Quinn's dad?
Harley Quinn doesn't have a dad, apparently.
Oh, that she's born of virgin material.
Yeah, who's Harley Quinn's dad? What are you talking? She already had an origin story. It's Suicide Squad, I thought. No?
In the first movie you're talking?
Yeah, didn't she have like an origin story where he does like some weird stuff and puts her in some acid or whatever?
Boy, I don't remember that part of the movie at all.
Sleepy, this is when you're supposed to say this is a reboot. Hey, can before we just fry the brains of the people who are kind enough to have watched us this long, can we maybe rattle off some books that people might be interested in picking up? I, for example, am desperately trying to find reasonably priced copies of the Fightin' 540, and I'd like to get a halfway decent looking copy of the first appearance of Polka Dot Man. But the only copy I've seen had a subscription crease in it, and they wanted an arm and a leg for it, and I passed. I think we're well past the point where these characters are going to be, kind of like a throwaway team and not the real Suicide Squad. And it makes sense to try to get in on them.
Wait, you're saying they're not? You're saying they're not a joke anymore because they haven't announced anybody else? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, right. I think I think we're going to see these people actually appear in the movie in some substantial way.
Like, I'm interested in how it's going to develop, but I'm not really going to start buying these books unless it's like the ones I can find. I'm not going to go out of my way to find a Fighting 5, which is, I'm sure, is going to be impossible. So I don't know.
Notice that Sleepy's conspicuously quiet because he's sitting on a stack of a dozen copies of that damn book.
Yeah, right. No, I didn't have trouble finding. I think if you were looking for them a few months ago, I don't think it was as hard to find them. What's Polka Dot Man's first? I don't recall.
Detective something now.
Is it like an older one now?
Yeah, it's Batman 300.
Oh, Batman 300.
Batman 300.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not going to be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it's not going to be a cheap book either way.
Nope. And it's a cool cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a cool Silver Age cover.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, there's a big wheel on it or something, right? And it's blue. That's all I remember about it. Blue, and there's some kind of wheel. Who knows? I think that's all we had. I think that's really all we had for this podcast. I appreciate you listening. Again, we have a contest, so you're going to have to go back to the beginning and try to decipher that if you missed that. I'm not going to say it again. I don't know. It's for Deceased 2 covers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Deceased number 1.
It's in the description, and also at the beginning we explain it. So yeah, thanks again for watching comicbookspeculation.com. We'll catch you next week, same time, same place, I think. Bye now.